Okay, what's going on everybody? Hope you're all doing well today. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 3 quote-unquote bad PS2 games and explaining why, in my opinion, that is actually not the case, because I think that these games are actually good, especially one of them, which we'll leave till last. But the first 2 games coming up, they're not anything special by any means, but to say that they are terrible, and in some cases, even some of the worst games on the PS2, I feel is completely exaggerated, it's unjustified. Now the first game we'll be taking a look at is 25 to Life. So there was a video that I saw by this, I don't know his name, it was some random black guy on YouTube, never seen him before. I looked up 25 to Life, and I saw this guy's video right here. So, to this guy, this is apparently the worst game he has ever played, ever. Now, he has either played barely any games at all, or he's completely full of shit, because this game is by no means the worst game ever. And it's not even a bad game, that's the thing. Now, don't get me wrong, one thing I will say is that the story in this game is terrible. It's forgettable as fuck. The characters are boring. I think the only character that is somewhat interesting is the crook cop, Latina chick, basically the Catalina wannabe. You know, she's got some cheesy voice acting, which is kind of amusing, but other than that, the story is fucking horrible, but, you know, who cares? It's just a story. It's a game after all. As long as the gameplay is fun, then we can forgive a bad story. And the gameplay here is fun, you know. It's got some cool environments, some good variety. You know, you've got ghetto neighborhoods, a subway level, a level in Tijuana, Mexico, a casino level, a prison level, one in a mall, and then the final level, like a big mansion type thing. That's something that I definitely like a lot in this game, is the areas that you play through in these missions. You'd think maybe it would just be like generic ghetto neighborhoods, but it's actually a variety of different locations, which is cool. The soundtrack is awesome. It's got 90s to early 2000s hip-hop music. You've got Tupac, you've got DMX, as well as a lot of other songs that I never heard of that I actually thought were cool, you know, like this song right here. I'm facing 25 to life, cops come catch me, man. I'm on the run, I'm on the run. Yeah, I had that song in my head for like a week after playing. So a really good soundtrack right here. Also, another thing, this is just a small thing, but I really like the gun sounds in this game. They sound like they're ripped straight from an 80s action movie. I think they sound fucking great. And overall, it's just a decent game. There's not really much to it, you know, you just go through the levels, killing people, you have some side objectives which don't really add anything. There's not like anything else really, there's no gimmicky sections, there's no vehicle sections. But I just don't understand calling it a bad game. There's nothing about it that you would consider bad other than the story. It controls fine, there's no frustrating sections, no annoying enemy types, no gimmicky bullshit, it's just a decent game. Like, sure, if you want to call it mediocre, that's more than fine, that's very reasonable right there. You could definitely consider this a mediocre third-person shooter, but to consider it bad, or in some cases, the worst game you've ever played, is just ridiculous. Getting on to the second game, State of Emergency 2. So I think this game is about as good as 25 to Life. I'd probably rate it about the same. There's things that this game does better, and then there's some things that it does worse. Like, something that I didn't care for in this game was some of the vehicle sections. Like, I'm not a big fan of those tank missions. The ones with the helicopter are okay, but the ones with the tank are fucking boring. You move so fucking slow in that thing, it's just tedious to get around. Also, that boat mission is a right fucking pain. That took me like 15 tries, man, because the controls on the boat are incredibly sensitive. Also, the rubber banding on the guy you're chasing is fucking ridiculous. Like, one time, like one of the attempts, I was chasing this guy for like 5 minutes before I could get near him. Also, you got Bull on the back, which is one of the characters. Like, this guy just won't shoot him sometimes, you know, his AI is fucking stupid like that. And then the guy that you're chasing will sometimes take these ridiculous quick turns, and then you end up like missing the turn, and like if you make the slightest mistake, then you will lose him. It's a right pain, that mission. But I think other than the boring tank missions and that one boat mission, this is a really fun game. Easily the best thing about it is the shooting. The shooting is so smooth in this game. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how well this game controls for a game of its time. The weapons feel powerful, they have a good time to kill, and it's just fun to shoot stuff in this game. Something else that ain't that great though about this game is the level design. Now the first mission, or the first couple of missions in the prison, are actually really fucking good. It is really fun, that mission, where you break out of prison, you have to let all the prisoners loose, and there's riots going on. You've got a fun little sniper section, and then after that you have to escape with Bull, get into a helicopter. That was such a strong start for this game. If the entire game had level design like that, this game would have been fucking awesome. But the thing that lets it down is that after that initial section in the prison, the level design really takes a nosedive. There's still good missions after it, but then at the same time you've got missions like the one directly after it, where you take control of the fat Mexican dude. That mission is so fucking lame. All you do is you run around this small city, taking out like individual dudes. You'll run to one point, you'll run to one spot, kill a dude, then run across the city, kill another dude, run across the city, kill another dude. Like, come on, man. The story is kind of whatever, like, what would you expect from this game? I do like some of the characters, though. I think they actually look kind of cool. Like, you got this big, buff black guy who's pretty cool. You've got this midget fucking fat Mexican dude. You got this cool Asian chick, and then this weird geeky looking fucking dude with the spiky hair. They look like such an odd group, you know. They don't look like they would be in the same group, but each character stands out, you know. They definitely have a good look to them, but the story is kind of whatever. And the ending, my god, I've never seen a more abrupt ending in a video game. But I think overall, this is a solid game. Definitely worth a playthrough, in my opinion. By no means bad, or the worst game on PS2. Mediocre, sure, but in my opinion, it's a decent game that you can get enjoyment from. And lastly, by far, the best game on this list, Dead to Rights 2. Now, I cannot believe the hate that this game gets. Unlike the previous two games, this isn't just a decent game, this is a fucking awesome game. I'd give this like an easy 8 out of 10. This has such fun gameplay, and it also improves on a lot of the flaws from the first game. Like, people be saying that the first game is better, it's even a masterpiece in some cases, you know, from certain people. But I think this game is actually better, much better, because it gets rid of all the shitty sections from the first game. Not only does it drastically refine the gameplay, making it much more responsive and smooth and just overall fun, but it gets rid of the shitty gimmicky sections where you have to pick locks and defuse bombs and sniff out fucking bombs with the dog and shit. There are so many gimmicky sections in the first game that are severely overdone. At first you think, okay, this is kind of fun, it's a change from the gunplay, from the shooting, but then like once you're halfway through the game, it just becomes so fucking tiresome. They really overdo it, and it definitely hurts the replay value. Like those gimmicky sections, like the mini games, right? They would not make me want to replay this game. Not only the shitty mini games, but also the fucking garbage boss fights, especially the ones in the second half of the game. The ones where you shoot the boss are fine, but where you're forced to fight them with your fists, oh, they are horrible, man. Like the one with the fat guy in the suit, that has got to be one of the worst boss fights I've ever seen. It's not even that it's like hard or unfair, it's actually really fucking easy. It's just incredibly boring and dull. Like all you do is you have to run up to him, bait his attacks, so then he gets tired, then you grab him from behind, mash the buttons to choke him out, and that's the boss right there. You just repeat that over and over again until his health is gone. what a trash boss, man. And don't get me wrong, I really like the first game, but I think the second game is much better. Much better gameplay, like I said, more refined, more enjoyable, gets rid of the shitty mini-games, and for the most part has enjoyable boss fights. I wasn't a big fan of the one at the bar, because there's so many grunts that spawn in that boss, it's a fucking pain. Not because there's grunts and they're fucking shooting you from 20 different angles and draining your health and shit. No, the fact that there's actually that many grunts that you can't even target the boss. Because in that boss, they have these Molotovs or bombs, whatever the hell they are, that you have to throw at him. But because there's so many grunts in the arena, you end up targeting the wrong one, the wrong enemy, right? You don't target the boss, instead you'll target some random grunt, and then you'll end up wasting your bombs, or in some cases, throwing them too near to yourself and blowing yourself up and completely fucking up your health. Other than that though, the bosses were fine. The helicopter one was much more fair. It had grunts, but they came in waves. Like, you would shoot the helicopter, it would disappear, spawn in some grunts, so then you get more ammo, and then repeat. There was actually a pattern to it, not just spawn 20,000 random grunts. That was really a pain, that boss. But other than that one annoying boss, this game is bloody fantastic. I had so much fun playing this game, and I can't believe that people don't like it. I guess another thing I would say is that the story and the voice acting was better in the first game. The first game had really cheesy voice acting, especially by the main guy, the Jack Slate guy. I really liked his voice actor. I really wish they would have brought him back in the second game. Instead, they went with Steve Bloom, which, you know, I love Steve Bloom. I think he's a really good voice actor. You know, I love Tank Dempsey, but I wish they would have brought back the original voice actor because he was actually really cool. So yeah, thinking about that again, the things that this game does worse is the story and the characters. But other than that, it does everything else better. Or at least in my opinion, because obviously, there's nothing wrong with not liking these games. Like, I'm not going to sit here and cry because you think these games are bad. Like, it's your opinion. Still though, people definitely be exaggerating. Like, going back to the black dude that I mentioned before, he also played State of Emergency 2, and the entire video was basically just him dying and raging and saying that the game sucked. There was no actual reasons why the game sucked. He didn't explain why it was a bad game. It basically just narrowed down to, I suck at the game, I can't beat it because it's too hard, even though that game's not hard at all, so the game sucks. Which is pretty funny if you ask me. You know, skill issue! I hate to say that, but hey, it's true, man. Skill issue indeed. But that's all for today, so I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments. Check out any of these games if they pique your interest. Especially give Dead to Rights 2 a chance if you like shooters on the PS2. That is a really good game right there. But until the next video, I'll see you all next time, and sayonara.